What is your name in reference to?
What's the sound effect a brand new can of soda makes when you open it?
Ooh. Oh. That, I would never have gotten that.
My brother opened a can of soda a couple weeks ago when the show was still airing.
There's a great meme to be made of that, I think. If you can put that with like a Coke ad, that feels like a very Vine era thing to do, is just like have a little Vincent D'Onofrio pop up every time somebody like does the thing.
They made a gif of him opening the door and punching the guy.
Oh, at the
When he
from
says,
the
"Boo!"
boo.
He's so funny. It's absurd how funny he is. Like, it's not even fair how funny he is.
I do
how
think he's probably
glorious.
the best actor in the series.
How glorious he is to watch. They also made a gif of when he was standing at Karen's jail cell and he goes, "Ha!"
Hello, guys. Welcome back to Interior Analysis. I'm Angel Michelli.
I'm Evan Westman.
I'm Jelani T. Kelly, aka that sound effect that a brand new can of soda makes when you open it.
And today we're going to be talking about. I'm
I'll
sorry.
make our conversation before the cold opens so that everyone is caught up.
Oh,
Angel,
you
I think you
recorded
missed that.
Okay.
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a fisk.
Yeah.
Okay. I apologize.
Yeah.
I was not there for that part of the conversation.
That's on us for not catching you up.
Anyway, today we're going to have a different conversation, and this one's going to be about Daredevil Born Again Season 2, which I've been very excited for. We talked about Born Again Season 1 pretty recently, and we've, talked about Daredevil on the podcast a bunch just leading up to this. But Season 2 is done, and I don't know, in my opinion, this was a marked improvement over Season 1, which I think a lot of fans expected considering that the creative team that had overhauled last season is finally, taking over this season entirely. So it was all one vision as opposed to last year that was a little bit of a mess, even if there were still good parts to it. But yeah, do you guys want to jump in with your initial reactions first, or do you want me to go first?
Evan's wrong.
Well, they don't know how Evan's wrong yet.
It's fine. They just need to know he's wrong.
They're going to figure it out once he starts talking.
Yeah, I think fans will, like, people who are fans of this show are gonna not like me or what I have to say this episode.
Get him.
I think in light of that, Jelani, maybe you should go first so that people know they have an ally in this.
It was a good season. It was a fun watch. It was intense. It was really well written. It was intense. It was really well written. It was well acted. I didn't have any complaints about this season other than that I don't remember much of it. I miss Punisher this season. Jessica Jones has always been a nothing character to me. I do think that it's good they're putting her with Luke Cage, though, because it's comic accurate. BB hold Daniel by continuing to do those mayoral updates.
See, you're wrong about Jessica Jones, but
No.
Yeah.
No.
yeah.
No, I'm not. Fisk is too funny. He carries the show. Bullseye is also hilarious. He carries the show. Matt carries the show. Everybody carries the show.
It's a team effort. So as Jelani teased, I did not enjoy this. It's not like the worst thing ever. I do think there are good moments. There are good episodes. I'll save some of that for my topic, but I was bored for a lot of this season. I said in my notes I might draw that back to like half the time. Sorry guys, this show just is not for me. I think it's a
Wow.
Marvel problem, and like
You can't see me, but I'm shaking my head.
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean, I expect I'll be the minority opinion here, and I expect
No, go
most
ahead and
listeners.
call the show a slur while you're at it. Go ahead.
Why would I do that? I don't hate it enough. If I was going to call,
Come up with the slur to call the show, and then call it that.
slop. No, it's not. It's not even bad enough to be slop.
Wow, Evan, canceled.
Nah, I'll throw mid at it though. I think mid is if mid is considered a slur, then I'll throw that at it. I mean, it's MCU midness. I'll give you there's some good stuff here. I liked episode 5. I liked that like parallel with the backstory with Foggy. That was a good episode. The finale was all right.
It was
And
funny.
there were like 2 good fight scenes. Like the one with Jessica Jones was decent, and the one where they broke the people out of the cages in episode 3. That was a cool fight scene. Rest of the show, don't need it. Do not care. I guess I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. And I'm not mad at you guys. Like my topic is all about my time having been wasted, but that is directed at Marvel. I'm not mad at you guys, especially like how can I be mad at you guys when I picked the entire Hobbit trilogy? Like this.
Well, we
mad
didn't
at
write
you.
the show,
Pale-
Evan.
No,
I'm mad at Evan.
no, but like I'm saying I have no right to be upset at you guys for picking this show when I
Everybody
made you
else should
watch
be mad at
that.
Evan too.
You know, I expect that this is like Deadpool and Wolverine a couple of years ago. Everyone else seems to. I mean, I wouldn't say everyone
Oh my
enjoys
God.
that.
Why'd
I
you
saw
remind me
some.
of that?
Yeah, I liked that less than the vast majority of people, though. And people, say good things about this show. You guys are not the only ones who hyped up the old show to me beforehand, and it's just, I don't like it. Where do you want to start with topics on this? I'm good on my reactions.
Oh, I didn't even say my initials. I was.
Oh,
I
wait,
just
Angel didn't
wanted to
do
be
his
polite and
reaction.
let you guys go first.
Oh,
and
yeah,
it's actually
sorry.
funny because my initials
yeah.
are kind of
Wow,
in between
Evan.
you guys.
Wow, first you called the show a slur, and now you're calling Angel a slur.
What?
That's crazy. I feel
Wow,
terrible,
Evan. Yeah, I can't excuse this.
I could just leave for the whole episode if that would make things better.
I can't excuse this. I've been covering your ass for too long. No, I'm kidding. Okay,
You were the one throwing me under the bus every time.
Yeah, and I was driving the bus
Anyway,
too. So whatever.
Without a
anyway,
license.
we do have limited time, guys. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna just jump in with
Sorry.
mine. So
Sorry.
mine, no, it's fine. I really do like this show, as I said before. But mine are a little bit in between you guys. I'm definitely leaning more towards where Jelani's at, where like I really, really, really love the show, especially compared to last season. But I do admit, and I was thinking this throughout, so this isn't Evan, influencing my opinion. I do admit that there were moments that I felt like were really slow. Not upon a rewatch, which I noticed, because I managed to rewatch about 3/4 of the season. I was almost at the end of episode 6, like earlier today. I didn't get a chance to rewatch the last couple episodes, but I remember them pretty clearly, so it's fine. I found, whereas last season I was like really into the Kingpin stuff because it was the most consistent, I found that to be the slowest part for me this season. I'm not sure why, but other than a couple of characters, I was like really uninvested in a lot of them. I mean, you guys know from last episode, I do not like Heather at all. I think she is incredibly difficult to watch. And it's not the actress. The actress is great. I do not enjoy the direction they're going with her character. And I think them ingraining her more into Kingpin's story has started to bring it down just a little bit, especially with this like weird kind of romance she's developing with Buck. And I'm not sure where that's going or if that's going anywhere, because I also don't know if Buck's alive, which we'll get to when we talk more about the finale. But yeah, it just...
He is.
Yeah, he's got to be. He's got to be. It's just weird that they never check in with him at the end. But either way, like, there are elements of that are good. Like, he's really interesting. I love the direction that they went with Daniel this season. I think he's probably one of the better characters within that story. I just found that, in general, to be a lot less interesting than, Matt and Karen being on the run, Matt's stuff with Bullseye, all the stuff they bring in toward the end with Jessica Jones. Like, it just wasn't doing it for me. But the rest of the season, is really good. I remember talking to my sister about this, and one thing we both really loved as we were watching it week to week was that it is a very action-oriented season. There's action in pretty much every episode, whereas like in the Netflix show, they had 13 episodes, so every episode didn't necessarily have an action sequence. This one not only has action sequences all the time, but really good action sequences that make sense with the story. And I thought that was really, really great because it's hard to integrate those, especially this often. And they never feel shoehorned in, and they're really well directed and choreographed. I was saying too, this is like the team up season. Like he gets so many team ups with people during the season, and it's so much fun to watch. Matt does, and I just love it. He gets a team up fight with Swordsman, with Jessica Jones. He has one with Tiny White Tiger. He has one. That giant fight at the end of the season is really cool. I mean, even he kind of has a team up fight with Karen too, which is really cool. She gets a lot more to do this season. They're kind of making her like Punisher-ish, which is interesting to watch their dynamic change because it doesn't like kill their relationship either. It just makes it more interesting to watch throughout the season. They're not just like on the same page all the time. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think the dynamics are really good. I think season 3, which is definitely going to be the Defender season, is going to be awesome. And we can maybe talk more about that at the end if we have time. Speculation on what comes next. But yeah, as far as topics go, I know Jelani's, yours was stakes. Mine was the relationship between violence and justice, and Evan, yours was how your time was wasted. So you know what I want to do? I want to start with Evan's topic about why he's
No,
wrong.
let's skip it.
You want to skip his topic entirely?
Yep, he don't get a topic this episode.
I was low-key considering not making one because I was struggling to figure out what to talk about. If we're really going with it, my topic is called "This Could Have Been an Email." I'm very tired of Marvel wasting our time. And I was thinking today, so I kind of framed this topic as like a Marvel problem. I think it's partly a streaming TV problem as well. They're kind of combining. With the connected story of the MCU, I don't mind if every individual movie or show doesn't advance the long-term story that much. But if it's not going to do that, then I want it to still be worth the time that you're putting into it. There's a few units of visual storytelling. You have short films, TV episodes, movies, TV seasons, and since we're talking about the MCU, I'll throw in post-credit scenes. And Marvel almost always seems to make it like one thing longer than the content of the story warrants. Sometimes even a little bit bigger than that. Like, there are a few MCU movies that I'm like, this should have just been a post-credit scene. For the amount of stuff that it does, you didn't make it worth my time, and it's not that important to the long-term story you're doing. So why did you spend $150 million on it and waste 2 hours of our time? And if I thought they couldn't do that, then I would be less mad about it. But when they need to be efficient, they are. And they have made a few movies that I think justify their entire runtime. Like, Black Panther is a full good movie. I think all 4 Avengers movies and Civil War, those are full good movies that are, in some places, very efficient. Like, Civil War, Endgame, and Infinity War are tight movies that put a lot in there. So they can't tell me that, like, they can't be efficient.
Age of Ultron?
I'd say even Ultron justifies its runtime. Like, people don't like it as much, but, like, you at least have a lot of characters in there that you're doing stuff with. And I would give them a few flops. I'll even, I'm coming out as a bit of a villain this episode, but I'm going to show a little bit of, I don't know about growth, but, like, my favorite MCU punching bag, I'll give Guardians of the Galaxy, that justifies most of its runtime. Like, that deserved to be a full movie, not a post-credit scene. But this is, like, the first of the MCU TV shows that I've watched all of, and I was like, by the end of it, I went back through, and I said this about season 1 also, there is a movie worth of content in here that is actually worthwhile. So why did you make 6.5 hours? Like it's almost the same problem as The Hobbit. I don't think it's as bad as The Hobbit, but you took something that, like, I was thinking about a lot of things as a comparison. One of them was the Harry Potter movies. I think do a really good job. Those are adaptations, but they do a really good job of condensing those plots to what is necessary, and they end up being longer than average movies. And then with the last book, they're like, okay, this is a little too much for a reasonably length movie, so we're gonna cut it in two. And I feel like you do see the reverse of that, where too much, like the Watchmen movie, I'd say, is an example of something where too much is packed into one movie. I think the MCU always makes the mistake of having a lot of filler. It's not like there is nothing here that's worthwhile, but there was so much of this that I was just like, why do you feel the need to make a mid-TV show when you could have made a pretty solid movie out of this? Like, I think if you put all of the good moments of this show and, like, tighten that up, you have a decent 2-hour movie on your hands from what's in this show. And it feels like calculated midness. Again, I don't feel like you guys wasted my time picking this, but I'm really sick of Marvel, like, just giving us way more than needs to be there. Like, final comparison, then I'll throw it to you guys. For Green Day fans in the crowd, this should have been American Idiot, and they made Jesus of Suburbia instead. Jesus of Suburbia is a good song that justifies its length, but it does a lot of things in that 10 minutes. They should have made American Idiot. What are your guys' responses?
I feel like I'm going to play Evan's advocate a little bit and agree with some of your points, so maybe I should go first. Because I feel like Jelani's going to flip out a little bit.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Because I'm about ready to end the call.
I'm gonna let you build up your anger, but I'll go first. So I kind of understand what you're saying. I think it's similar to some of what I was saying in my initials. Like, there were parts of this season where I was genuinely having a hard time getting through some of it. And in my opinion, it's because it was weekly. Because when I binged it, it wasn't as bad, like the Kingpin stuff. I think that there's less... I don't want to say less direction when it comes to the Kingpin stuff, but there were points where I was kind of confused, like, why are they doing this at this time in this way? And I think that's some of the problem. I think that it makes it... They don't always have a clear vision of what they want to do. So, like, my biggest example of this is probably the Kingpin boxing match. That's so cool of an idea, and I love it. But at the same time, why was he doing that?
And they teased it for like 2 episodes.
They did tease it for like 2 episodes, and it was epic and awesome and funny, but it was also like, I wasn't sure from a storyline perspective why that was happening. I think they said something about it being a charity boxing match, but I don't know how Kingpin potentially killing somebody in the ring as the mayor of New York is anywhere near a good PR idea, because I'm pretty sure he did kill that guy, and I guess it was...
No, he 100% did.
Yeah.
But
no,
the show's
he
a comedy.
Did. The show does have comedic elements.
The show is a comedy.
Yeah.
Because remember what he did to the guy who was training him? He killed him too.
He did.
Come on, man, you're better than this. And he punched him, and he went flying and broke a mirror.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about Kingpin's superpowers.
Or breathe again.
We'll talk about Kingpin's superpowers
wax on,
too.
Wax off, motherfucker.
He absolutely, he's crazy this season, and I think they lean into it really well. But those are where, like, I think some of the filler comes in, is where they can't really figure out what exactly they want to say when they want to say it. I think the part that they have the best grasp on is, Matt and Karen being on the run, and, Matt's stuff with Bullseye and all that stuff, which does make the rest of it kind of feel like filler. And I think where they could have improved some of that is they definitely do better with some of the supporting characters. Like, I feel like Kirsten gets more to do. Not too much, but enough that she doesn't, like, overstay her welcome, but she also has a little bit more character than she did last season. But then they don't do enough with other characters that I thought were going to get more. Like, they don't really do too much with Cherry after the first couple episodes, and I think he's better this season. I think they know more of, like, what his relationship is going to be to Matt. They do nothing with Angie Kim at all, which I feel like is a missed opportunity because I think the actress is really good. They don't really do anything with Angela either, even though she kind of becomes White Tiger. Like they give her little bits and pieces, but I think what I notice now is they don't spend enough time with these characters individually in a way that Evan, you don't know this because you haven't seen it, but the original show I feel like did. They give individual storylines to characters like Karen and Foggy, like outside of what Matt or Kingpin are doing, and so it feels like the show is switching between storylines, but in a way that's moving. And in this, it feels like there's two or three main characters, and then everyone else kind of just jumps in when they can. So I do get what you're saying. It definitely feels like there were parts where they were spinning their wheels just a little bit. But I don't know that this is only a movie's worth of content. I feel like if they tried to pack this into 2 hours, it could have worked, but it would have been tight. And I think that there's a reason that Daredevil is a show, because the structure of TV, they can spread some of this stuff out where they need it to. You know, you can get an individual episode that's something like a flashback episode.
It definitely would have been tight. Like 2 hours might have been too short. But 2.5, you could have figured it out, I think. Or if it has to be a TV series, like this is where I'll throw them a bone for, like, this is maybe a streaming problem and not a Marvel problem, is that I think this is just true of a lot of shows that I've seen where I'm like, I've said this about every season of The Boys, I think they always get 2 episodes more than they really need. And it just leads to, like, either a couple episodes that don't mean anything or large stretches of each episode where I'm like, what are we doing with it? Like, this is so irrelevant. I don't care.
It is not as bad as The Boys. I don't want to hear that.
I don't think every season of The Boys is awful about that, but I do think I've said that about every individual season of that show is, like, I'm saying this as like a broad streaming problem, but I think it's true here too. I think they got more than they needed, and I'm not a fan.
I get what you're saying there. I think that this is closer to that issue where there's maybe a little too much time, if anything, compared to other shows where I felt like there wasn't enough time. Like, I think I've talked before on the show about Falcon and Winter Soldier, how, like, it definitely needed at least one more episode. Like, it's crazy. And, like, Echo also did, because Echo, they ended so abruptly, it was insane. And they packed so much into it.
You watched Echo?
In so little time. Yeah, I watched Echo. Did you not watch Echo?
No.
Echo's good. Mostly. I feel like they lost the plot a little bit because they did lose an episode and then they kind of had to rush it. There were too many studio notes.
You're not selling the show.
That's a whole other show. I'll sell it to you off screen. I understand what you're saying. I just think that as only a movie length would still have, like, not fit in everything that did work about it. Like, I think there's a lot of reasons the flashback show is the flashback episode, which I think is episode 5, is the way it is, and it works the way it does because it shows how Matt's past with Foggy is directly impacting the present day in a way that I think would not have worked as well if we had just had a short, like, what would have been, like, maybe a 5-minute sequence in a movie, because they would have had to just, you know, shoehorn it in very abruptly, and it would not, I don't think that it would have worked. Like, there's stuff about this that I think wouldn't work so well. But I'm gonna throw it to Jelani.
I'll give you, just before we do that, on that episode, I wanted more of that. Like, I felt like that was one of the few places where they were making good use of their time. Because, like, I agree, yeah, if you put that in a movie, you would just play that, like, 5-minute scene straight and do none of that, like, flashback stuff. And the flashback stuff I thought was good. That's a good use of extra space. You give us backstory, and I also just like that. I like seeing, I think that's good flashback work. I don't think every single episode should have been that. It shouldn't have been like Godfather Part 2, but you have extra space. So if you're not going to do plot work, then give us something worthwhile. Give us character stuff. Give us cool fight scenes or something. Jelani, tell me why I'm wrong.
Because the show's funny, and it's a comedy, and there was a lot of building, and there's a lot of things that it's building towards as far as next season, and
Cool. I'll skip this season then and go to next season.
No, hush. I ain't done.
Okay.
Okay, I'm done.
Okay.
No, I'm joking. Yeah, I mean, you're not entirely wrong. I like the Kingpin stuff just because I find pretty much every POV I enjoy watching. Kingpin, whenever he's on screen, he's hilarious, whether intentional or not. Just the way he speaks is funny. Bullseye, very captivating character because at this stage in his arc, I guess, he's a wild card. He's one of the good guys, or he thinks he is. His entire like half episode where he's at the diner and he says, "Oh my God, he has a gun," um,
So funny.
and he mops the floor with all of those anti-vigilante task force people is great, and I enjoy watching him. He's like a charismatic version of Dane DeHaan's Harry Osborn.
I saw your note and I was like, that's so true.
I
Just
didn't
the
even
way
think of that
he's-
until just now, but no, that's so right. It's like he's just a little off as like
Did-
compared to like a regular person.
It's the way he speaks and carries himself. Hey, what are you famous for? Like, I could picture Dane DeHaan saying that.
It's like he's trying his hardest to be like a regular person.
Yeah, even though
You
he's
know,
not.
like it's like he's trying to be like this is what a pleasant person would say to another
Yeah.
person, but it comes off as so unhinged because he's smiling a little bit too much and
It's like his
like-
"Hello, Karen. It's nice to see you." It's like that.
exactly. Yeah, he's just like a little weird about everything. And it's crazy because like he seemed a lot more it shows you how unstable he's getting compared to
Yes.
how he was in Daredevil season 3 because like back then he could interact with people in like a relatively normal way.
But it was an act.
But it
He's
was
a
an act. But
sociopath.
now he's putting on the act so hard because I mean I guess he lost his mind for a little bit, more so than normal. And like
He was also on drugs because of the
Yeah.
being in the facility. Yeah.
that's true. And now he's like overcompensating because he has this twisted idea that he can make up for what he did in the past and what he did to Foggy with like one really big good deed. And I think that's probably one of the more interesting parts. I feel like it's seeing him and Matt interact with each other where he's like he knows what he did was wrong, but I think it's like he logically knows. And he's like, the way that I'm going to make up for it and deal with whatever passes for him as guilt is to like just do good things and do exactly what Daredevil's doing, but in my most extreme way.
You see how this isn't even like the main character of the show, yet we found something to talk about with him? Evan,
I do see that.
you see how there's layers to this where it's not necessarily moving the plot forward, but there's some arc stuff to do with the character who had half an episode. And he did a couple of things in the other episodes. That's crazy how that works. And we're not even talking about Fisk or Matt yet.
I think it's still disproportionate. As I said, there is stuff here. It did not warrant 6 hours or 6.5, whatever it ended up being. I think it was
'Cause it
probably
was
closer
funny.
to 7 hours.
If you view this show as a comedy, which it is, just
I
like the
Didn't
season
laugh
5 of the
enough for
boys,
that.
just like season 5 of the
Oh,
boys.
really? I
'cause
did.
My brother and I find comedy. We should have had him on for this episode, but we find comedy in stuff when it's supposed to be serious because we zoom out a lot of the times and just look at how goofy it is.
I mean,
For
I can do
example-
that too. I didn't find myself
You
doing
don't.
it much
You
with
didn't.
this show.
You didn't.
I did at one
Um,
point. There was one thing. I don't know if this is the best time to bring this up, but because we'll probably talk about them later. But there was one bit with BB and Daniel. I think it's in the second episode where she's doing her leaks and he's like kind of onto her. He's like, "If you're leaking stuff, stop it." And I literally out loud went, "Stop it. Get some help." Because he did, like, it's such a lame way to say that. It's like,
But
did you have, was that the whole argument in your head? Like,
Yeah, no, I
Just
definitely agree
stop
with that.
doing
he
it.
did not have it's weird because he set up the whole dinner, right? He made her dinner, and it felt like he had a plan going into it, and then he's like, "Fuck, I forgot." What was I gonna do? I watched The Sopranos entirely before this, and I was ready. But like, it's like he was trying to intimidate her, and then he couldn't, which is weird because oddly, last season he had a very intimidating moment.
No, he didn't, and that's what makes this funny.
Arguably, he did.
He was hilarious every time he was on screen because I never bought him as somebody who could be intimidating in this character role. Well, that's what made it funny. Because there was one time
they made him a lot more vulnerable. I don't think they were trying to make him as intimidating because I think they started to show his decline where he realized maybe that he was caught up in this really terrible thing and he had no way out.
And that's why it was also funny because he kept trying to talk his way out of it, and he couldn't because he didn't know what he was dealing with. We knew what he was dealing with, but he got in way too deep, and it was funny to try and watch him climb his way out. And then, okay,
you were gonna say and then die, weren't you?
No, the cats.
And
that's why. And then he died. There was one, I forget if it was this season or last season, where BB like had something snuck into her coat pocket.
It was this season.
It was this season.
Yeah, and then there was like
friend.
Yeah, there was a moment of him staring at her with the smile on his face, like he knew what was up. And I was like, I can't. This is too funny. There's no way this isn't intentionally funny because he's not intimidating. Who is he intimidating? When you use, and I was saying this when we recorded last season's episode, when you use another dude's name as a threat, that's not intimidating. If you're not doing the work yourself or in that dude's name, it's not intimidating. Because if imagine I walk up to you and I'm like, hey, you know Ducky wouldn't like that, man. like, you're not scared of me. You're scared of maybe who I mentioned.
Yeah.
But I'm not the one that's being intimidating.
It's like cosplaying a Nepo baby.
I'm threatening to be a snitch.
Oh,
like,
man.
that's all I'm doing.
Yeah. No, that's so right. That's such But that's the whole point. That's why he dies, is because he's not intimidating, and he figures it out too late. Ultimately, I liked his character this season because he does make the right decision. He decides to help somebody he cares about, which I don't know that I fully bought their relationship because, like...
Oh, no.
Why? So, my whole thing was, why does she like him? I get toward the end when he started to make the right decision, and ultimately he spent a good chunk of the season covering for her and protecting her. But why does she like him?
She was using him. That's what that scene with Karen was in the park.
I don't know, though, because I think that by the end, they kind of make it seem like she does like him at least a little bit. Like she is, like, not into him, but at the very least, she does actually seem to care about him. And nothing he did in season 1, especially, but even in this season... really, like, I could see after he died maybe feeling bad and sad, but other than that, I just don't understand their friendship or relationship or whatever it was. Like, I don't fully get it from her side.
I think that could have used a little more work. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yes and no, because, like, there's a certain extent to which him as an actor, him as a character, if he wasn't such a bootlicker, then I think he would have some kind of charm to him. Where,
I could see that.
I could see it being like, you know, he seems like someone who might be fun to hang out with, who could grow on you. The character doesn't have enough personality for that. I think the actor seems like he could. But he's also
actor,
too,
definitely.
like...
Michael Gandolfini is great.
Yeah, like, he seems like he might be a fun hang IRL. But I think he's too spineless. Like, I just can't really respect somebody like him.
Exactly.
And I think they were maybe leaning on his just, like, he's got a very, like, next-door neighbor, like, seems like a generally nice person face. Like, I would have probably, like, gone and played Smash Bros. At his house if I was next door to him as a kid. But since he grew up to be this, you lose all respect. And I think they were trying to force it a little too much. And I think it also was too obvious that she was playing him. Like I don't. There was the one moment, like I think the episode that he died, where she like kind of made a move on him, and he was like, "No, don't." Like I don't buy it for
Yeah.
a second.
And that's the thing. I didn't buy that because it felt like she had been using him up to this point.
Right.
You
Like
know?
it felt a little bit forced there. Like he's not charming enough that you would have him. If he had been like, I could see it maybe happening after he like puts himself in danger for her. But
Oh
then
yeah, for sure.
obviously he dies, and I did appreciate that he died because I was like, you need that. He can't stick around after that. His only value is loyalty. So as soon as that out the window, he has to die. So I was like, that's a good end to that storyline. I'll give that was one thing I thought they executed well. I thought
Which
both of them
brings
were a
me
little
the
stupid, but
stakes.
Yeah, so
yes,
actually,
I'm good to move to Jelani's topic there if we want.
yeah. Well, actually, before that, I want to point out I'm pretty sure I heard that that was not the original plan. I think that happened after the season was already finished filming. They made that as like a post. I heard that on like another channel. I don't know if it's true, but that they kind of initially they hadn't killed him, and then they killed him off like after the fact.
Good call if
Which
true.
I think it was a better end to the storyline for sure. But it's interesting that they chose to do that like as they were editing the season, like they realized that that was what was going on.
I thought, well, okay, on the steaks. My my topic is well done or medium rare steaks.
I prefer medium well.
Me too.
There's that too. Raw steaks. I didn't expect him to die. Not this early. I thought he was just gonna get deeper and deeper until he couldn't. Kind of like what they did with Agent Nadim from season 3 of the Netflix show, where they just kept having him do things and he didn't really have a choice. That's where I thought it was going when they had Buck, when Buck had him either choose a shovel or saw. Yeah, I didn't think they'd kill him. Regardless, it was still funny because it was funny to watch him squirm and panic, and then his face as he was trying to take BB inside, and then she snapped him out of it, which I don't think I bought either. His last semblance of humanity, I was just like, this. I don't know if he would do that in this moment. Okay, their friendship, whatever.
I almost bought it more than when he was dragging her inside. Like when he was starting to drag her inside, that felt fake to me, as opposed
Nah,
to it felt like the real him coming out when he finally made the decision that he'd been building up to the whole season, which is to protect her.
uh, eh. Either way, it was funny. And then Vanessa dead. What's so funny about it is everything around it. Not the fact that she died, even though her like her last moment of consciousness before she dropped in that boxing ring. My brother and I have this thing where she turns and whispers his name. She says Wilson, but but my brother told me, he said, I don't know why, but I keep picturing Littlefinger doing that instead. So
Wait, picturing who?
Littlefinger from Game of Thrones.
Oh
yeah,
my
instead of
god!
Vanessa in that place, it's Littlefinger turning and whispering, "Where's it?"
Wilson.
Oh
So
my
that's
god!
that made that funny. That's my brother's fault, okay? And then how adamant he was about getting the pineapple juice. My brother keeps quoting that too. Okay, I'm starting to realize this is all my brother's fault for making me enjoy this season as much as I did. He was so adamant about get me a glass of pineapple juice with ice. It was
And she's like, "Yo, Willie, you scared the shit out of that girl. Why? Why
yeah.
would you do that?"
And then I was like, uh-oh. She don't know what's going on. Are they gonna do amnesia? And nope, they killed her. And then it was made even funnier because that doctor, if you were that doctor and you knew who Kingpin was, you would have been out of there as soon as you heard her flatline. Like you would have been on the next plane out of there. But he goes in there and tries to console him. I don't know what it is with these regular people and thinking they could just talk to him any kind of way. Like his trainer that got killed. hey man, you not yourself right now. What happened? You used to, and then he gets punched across the ring and dies. One
Oh my
shot it.
god.
And then this doctor comes in and he's trying to feed him poetry. Day by day, I gaze upon her.
Oh my god, yeah, dude. I was watching that episode again today, and it cemented for me even more. This is the weirdest way they could have written this character, and I kind of love it. But, like, why is he quoting poetry? Why is he talking to him like a therapist that lives in a library?
Well, love should never be a secret. If you keep something secret locked up inside, you feed it poetry.
Yeah, it's like I'm watching an old noir movie, and I don't know why he did it this way. Like, he doesn't know this man. Do you talk
He's
to
like,
all your
"Hey,
patients
man.
like this?
Hey man, sorry about your wife. Bring it in." And then he just squeezes him to death. He's like, "Hey, I can't move." Yeah, you can't move, idiot. He kills. You let his wife die in his eyes. Do you know who you're dealing with?
Oh my god,
Oh my
yeah.
god. Oh, you can't convince me it's not a comedy, bro.
I
'Cause
will
when
say,
you look at it this way, it is hilarious, and I love it so much more.
I wish I'd watched this season with you now, because it sounds like a much better time than I
Oh,
had.
let's
I had a
all watch it
blast.
together. We'll do a binge day, and then we'll all re-record this episode.
I had a blast, man. Oh my god! And then at the end, with so I'm still on the topic of stakes, but the end when everybody's crashing out, Kingpin has the biggest crash out. I have that GIF saved on my phone, and I send it whenever I can because they made a GIF of it, of course. Well, one, he had a moment where he laughs at Karen, and he's
Ha!
like, "You think he's coming to save you?" Ha! That was so over the top and unnecessary. It was funny, which is
He's
all
such a
of
cartoon
Kingpin's.
character.
It's
I love
all
him.
of Kingpin's scenes, yes. And then the moment I warned my brother something was coming, but he knew it was coming. As soon as he said, "Open that door," and he starts walking to the door. He's like, "Uh-oh." And then he opened the door. He goes, "Boom!" and punch. He one-shots the guy.
I
and sends
literally
him flying
that
across the hallway.
that moment came. I literally turned to my sister as soon as he said open that door, and I whispered to her, "Is he about to beat the shit out of these regular protesters?" And then he did. And I was like, "Oh my god." And then it was two different hallway fights. One was Daredevil and Jess, and the other was Kingpin. And Kingpin is brutalizing these people. And somehow at the end he's like, "I'm trying to help you. Why are you so mad at me?"
My brother rewound it like 3 or 4 times.
Boo!
It's because it doesn't make sense how strong he is. Do you know how
I know!
how hard you have to punch somebody for them to leave their feet? It is rare that happens in even mixed martial arts in the UFC. But for them to go flying from your punch and crack their head on a bench across the hall from where you are is insane.
How big is he supposed to be? Because do you remember during the boxing match where they said weighing in at 325 pounds?
I believe it.
Which is supposed to be
All
almost
muscle.
all muscle, by the way. Which muscle's
All
heavier
muscle.
than fat, but anyway, it doesn't matter. Like, that's a crazy weight unless you're like 6'8".
Yeah. And then it didn't end there. Because he's continuing his rampage. He's just going through punch people. And then he lifts homie up by his head and his legs and turns him into the capital letter L, bending him across
Oh my
corner.
god. I remember cringing at that part. I'm like, oh, that could not have felt good at
Why
all.
did he do that?
For no reason, because he's crazy. I understand why at the end Matt stopped them, but I don't blame them for the protesters for trying to beat him to death and being like, "We need to stop this man. He's too dangerous."
They were running away.
He is stronger than Captain America, who has actual superpowers.
They were ready to fight him and jump him, and then once they saw that first dude get one tapped by One Punch Man, they started running for their lives and running for safety.
Yeah. It turned into a horror movie scene.
Essentially, yes. Okay, I need to calm down.
Are you okay? I can't see you, but I can feel you crying.
I'm crying laughing, dog. uh, okay, what else? I'm trying to be able to see. Oh man. Okay, I'm a little dizzy. Okay. Okay, Buck has been confirmed. Okay, I don't know what they're doing with Heather, aka Lady Muse. I don't. That was confusing, and people said his scene with the Buck scene with Heather, where he was like, "Choke me, mommy," was hot.
No.
I don't get it.
I don't either. I was okay. I was watching that. I wanted to skip that scene. I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah, I don't get it.
It did feel inherently kinky, though. Like
it was. I think it was supposed
100%.
to, and I don't understand why they did that.
I'm not kink shaming, but you know.
No, I'm not either. But it didn't do anything for me. But I was like, yeah, there's a subtext there.
I was uncomfortable, just because I think it's because it was the two of them. No kink shaming here.
I think they're bringing. I think Buck was already confirmed for next season. People are speculating he's going to have something to do with Lady Muse and awaken her or something, or be her first victim or something. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing with Heather. Oh yeah, I said this stuff about Bullseye already. It would be cool to see him join the Thunderbolts, so they have like an actual villain on the team, and see, because that movie, they were all like wholesome. None of them were like psychopaths like that for real. So it would be funny to see their reactions to a literal
to Bullseye.
Yeah, just to Bullseye.
Just being like, does anyone want a banana milkshake?
You're right. After he's covered in blood, there's bodies everywhere. After they had a whole plan, he went in, soloed the whole building, and he looks back at them and is like, "You guys want a banana milkshake?" He's great. I don't know what they're doing with Matthew Lillard. He feels a little wasted right now as Charles.
I don't know if he's coming back.
Yeah, I think he is.
I feel like he kind of has to, because I feel like his stuff wasn't done. But like,
yeah, Mr. Charles, I thought he had superpowers.
That would have been interesting.
I think it would have been interesting if he hit his superpowers. Like, did you watch Gen V season 2 at least? Andrew?
I did. I was just thinking about the same thing.
Cypher. I was thinking.
Yeah, with Cypher's character, I was thinking the exact same thing. Like, if he had something like small and hidden, and it would be interesting here because I feel like in that show they had to hint, because we didn't know what his powers were. They had to hint at it.
Yeah.
In this one, they wouldn't hint at it at all, so it would kind of be surprising. But they could have made sense. Like if it was some kind of like subtle mind control thing, or like an illusionary type deal, like something like that. That could have been to explain how a guy like this is just never touched.
Right.
You know?
I was in along the ride with that theory until Buck shot both of his like bodyguards in that warehouse, and then Kingpin shouts at him, "Practice a little patience." So it would have been, and then like what kind of killed that theory for me was like he dropped the F-bomb after like a sigh of relief, and I was like, oh, so he was like intimidated? Did he feel like
it made him a little vulnerable, I think. Not even too early, just like, but it showed that like he's not fully in control of every situation. But we also never finished his decline, so there's got to be more, right?
Right. Yeah. Daniel, Vanessa, Crash Out. I'll just mention this last as part of stakes. I feel like I've been on the topic kind of for the most part. I mean, I've been laughing through tears is most of it, but Matt and his revealed identity and in jail are huge plot points, because I really hope they don't pull a end of No Way Home and just make it so nobody knows who he is now.
There's no way they're going to.
I've been wondering if they're not going to do exactly that, but I think like the day after I watched the finale, I was like, oh, I bet they're gearing up for him to be in Spider-Man and or Doomsday, and that's why they had him go mask off and reveal that he's Daredevil. I don't know if they can like retrofit that now and have it be like, oh, nope, now everyone forgot again. But I bet it's setting up something for like later on.
I think there's a danger, kind of like they did with No Way Home, where there's a danger of it not really mattering as much as they're implying. 'Cause it's such a huge moment in the finale, and it kind of makes sense, and I love the way that they set it up and the way that they do it. Like, it's hard to make a moment like that work and still maintain the stakes, like you were saying, and the momentum that they were going for. But I think that they end it with really feasible consequences, and then I think the danger is going to come in next season with like, well, how he's not going to be able to go back to being a lawyer. So I think it could get kind of repetitive
Right.
because he's going to have to either go back to being on the run or he's going to have to work for the government or something. I feel like it's not
Or it's
really
time for a jail
possible.
season.
Yeah, exactly. Which I think it'll be interesting if he spends at least 2 episodes kind of in jail with that dynamic. I think they're implying that like Cole North is a lot more on his side and that's going to be like his ally in jail. But I think that that would also be a good way to give the other characters more stuff to do because Matt's not going to be around. So like seeing Karen while he's in jail, that would make sense. They do something similar in Arrow in season 7, which I guess spoilers for that, but that's been over for a
Oh
while now.
no!
That's been over for a while. But basically, they do something similar where like the main character ends up in jail, and that's a good like 7 or 8 episodes where
Cool.
he's not around, and the other characters have to just deal with it by themselves. And they mostly do a good job with giving the other characters more stuff to do. But I do think that they could very well be like, well, we set up this big thing, and we don't really know what to do with Matt when everyone knows who he is. So like, if they can't handle that dynamic with the public, I think that could become an issue.
I love jail arcs and jail scenes. Even in these
Yeah,
shows, the Netflix shows, Extraction 2, The
big
Raid
hallway
2,
fights.
The Raid 2,
Yeah,
when Punisher fought those dudes who Kingpin sent after him. Yeah, I love jail arcs for superheroes because it's like, well, now you're stripped down from everything. Now what? And now you're surrounded by people you put in there.
yeah.
I'm looking forward to where they're going, and we're still probably going to make Evan watch that too. It might be for you then, Evan, especially if you watch it in the same lens as I've been watching.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
gonna
we're
try
getting a
because it
Defenders
sounds
season.
more like am I allowed? I haven't been allowed to drink lately for health reasons that you guys know about, but like, am I
Mm-hmm.
allowed to watch this tipsy next
Oh,
time?
sure, yeah.
'Cause,
Yeah, why not? We'll all get tipsy and watch it together.
I mean, maybe.
I don't need to be
Typically, we do
tipsy for
that for
this.
watch-alongs, but like, I try to watch everything that we're gonna actually talk about sober and like pay attention to it. I think there is a place for like stuff that you don't pay attention to, and I
I don't.
typically don't try to pick things for this show that fall into that.
I take this seriously at all blood alcohol levels. So,
I don't need to be tipsy for this. I'm sober now and was sober when I was watching this, and it is still funny.
it is pretty funny.
Perhaps I'll exhale through my nose a few times.
If this wasn't funny, you wouldn't love it, Jelani. I feel like that.
Oh yeah, I mean, I won't say any details, but parts of the boys season 5 was also funny for the wrong reasons.
For the wrong reasons. Yeah.
So,
I get what you're saying. Next season
same.
though, it's going to just be fun because it's going to be Defenders. We're getting I
All
found
of
out
them.
today Finn Jones is coming back. Yeah. Which
Mm.
a lot of people are not excited for. I'm going to give it a shot. I think if they do it right cuz he came back after his show was over or after his show was over? I think so. In Luke Cage season 2, and when he has other main defenders to bounce off of, he's fine.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that if they get the dynamic right,
Yeah, he was cool in Luke Cage season 2.
exactly, yeah, I think they gave him just enough. So I think given that he's in a Daredevil show, they're kind of going to do what they did with Jessica Jones this season, where he's not going to be in it enough to overshadow everything or to be too distracting, but
Mm.
he's going to be in it enough for like people to be like, okay, this is kind of cool. If they shift around the way they're doing his character a little bit, that could be fun.
I also say I really like seeing Mike Coulter back as Luke Cage. Sweet Christmas.
Oh yeah.
Sweet Christmas.
He's one of the best castings they have, honestly. I think
Oh,
he is up
easily.
there with Charlie Cox
Easily.
as Daredevil. He's so good. It's really great. I love it.
Was that all I had to say? I think so. Let's move on.
Cool, yeah, because I think this actually does really lead into my topic well, which is the relationship between violence and justice, which is something that Daredevil as a character has always tackled, and the original series I tackled, I think, better than this, but that this season kind of gets back to after last season kind of felt like they were hinting at it without too much direction. I think this season does a really, really good job because Daredevil, for some background that I feel like a lot of people know, is basically like, so his dichotomy is that he is a lawyer and he's also a super violent vigilante. He is a Catholic who holds his Catholic values really close to his heart, but he is also still a violent vigilante. You know, he won't kill, but he kind of is like Batman in that he'll do pretty much everything else.
He's better than Batman, but continue.
I honestly agree. He's become one of my favorite characters in the last 10 years since the show came out. They handle the themes better because they don't comment as much on the nature of violence with Batman. And they definitely don't do it all the time. With Daredevil, I feel like they always at least hint at it.
That's 100% the reason why. That's what I'm talking about.
They handle it so well here. And it goes along with the stakes, like you were saying. They build up and they start off with this in the first place. Like, they have that whole big, crazy Northern Star scene. And then when Matt gets back, he's kind of talking to Karen, and you can tell they've been doing this for a few months, but they already have different ideas of how this is going to go. She's starting to lean a lot more into the sort of the Punisher mentality of it, because her and Frank are really close. She's always said, this might not be okay, but he is very effective, and she's getting to her breaking point where she can't really see another way out of this, because Fisk is so brutal, and he has such a tight grip over the system that, to her, they've tried the legal way this entire time, and it's never once worked. Every time they try, he keeps getting back out. So to her, the only way to stop this is the most brutal option. And you can see that in episode 3 when she kidnaps that AVTF officer, who it turns out just wanted to help them, but he's like the only one.
That was also really funny.
That was
You're
a really
lying!
good scene.
He's telling the truth.
You're lying to us. He's telling the truth. I'm like, oh my god, it's great. And she turned around because she was about to start laughing because she knows that he's not being serious. That's how well she knows Matt at this point. She knows that he's just trying to intimidate this guy. And it's just so great seeing that. They play up those comedic moments so well in this, but without losing any of the stakes or the tension. Because he is an inherently violent individual, but you can see him struggling with it, especially in the flashback episode where he is so angry with Bullseye, and he sees no reason other than principle to save this guy. And then he kind of remembers why those principles matter when he's remembering Foggy, and he's remembering this one random case that they had years ago that would to him feel totally insignificant because he has no idea the Kingpin was connected to it. But to him would feel completely insignificant because it's just a small thing, but it's the thing that made him remember that as much as this man has hurt him, Foggy would spare him. Foggy was better than him in that way, and that's what's keeping him holding on to his humanity. I do think there are elements to the show, and this is just, I think, the nature of the genre being superheroes being a pretty violent genre. There are points where maybe they kind of defeat their own point, and I think for me the finale is where that happens, where I remember watching it and being between two things with it. One, this action is so awesome, and watching these two hallway fights back to back is so interesting and fun to watch, and just dumb pulpy genre fun. But at the same time, the fact that we're rooting for this violence is not good, because the whole point is that violence and murder are not the answer. So sometimes it is difficult to balance this, and I think this does it almost in the best way it could. I think maybe Daredevil Season 3 might have done it better just because you didn't have to have violence in every single episode, and that wasn't the solution to every single problem. In this, it does kind of end with a huge fight, so I don't know that it totally makes its point, but I think it does a good job at least bringing up the argument, and definitely at giving every character their own point of view on it, and showing how Matt is growing and has grown from season 1 of the original show, and how he is very different from Kingpin, because Kingpin is too far gone at this point. Vanessa was definitely the breaking point. He's never coming back to any semblance of an idealistic person.
Unfortunately, It's all really funny. The
It
violence
is really
is
funny.
funny. But if you're good to throw it to
Yeah, I'm good to throw it to you guys.
us.
Yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on that?
Somehow the show did a good job at making me give a damn about Daredevil. I did not watch this show for him. Well, at first I watched the first two seasons.
You watch it for Karen.
I watched the first two seasons uh, because people kept saying it was good, and I was like, "It's cool, it's grounded, it's alright." And then season 3 happened, and I was just like, I feel like I'm just watching it for the villains, Kingpin and Bullseye. And then season 1 of Born Again happened, and then season 2, and I've over the 5 seasons and Defenders, they've gotten me to actually like them a little bit. I could at least. It's strange because I like Spider-Man and Superman are my top 3 favorite characters ever. Usually, I don't like characters that won't or can't kill their arch nemesis or any of their rogues gallery because of their moral code. And it's like, yeah, I said this on the Film Nuts podcast, but hey, Batman, you probably could have saved a million more lives if you would have just snapped Joker's neck, because now he's bombing that orphanage over there. Cool, man. Good job. You're what, a billionaire? Oh yeah, you could have done so many things to prevent this. Okay, cool. One, Daredevil's broke, so I relate. And two, I understand why he can't kill a little bit more because it's one of the main themes, one of Evan's favorite themes, one of the main themes of the show. His religious aspect plays a huge role in his character, and I respect that so much more because it's like, I kind of get it. What would God think of him if he tried to kill somebody? That, and Catholic guilt being another layer. That's not something I personally understand because I didn't go through Catholic. I didn't grow up Catholic, but I know that's
It's a
something
good
that
chunk of their
weighs.
thing.
Yeah, I know that.
That's their usual selling point.
It's how they keep you in, for sure. It's not a very enticing thing from the outside, but it makes you not want to leave.
What, Catholic guilt?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We talked about that in Wake Up Dead Man a lot, I
yeah.
feel like.
So I know that weighs on people. I mean, you just heard our Angel and Evan, who both grew up Catholic, right? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel Catholic guilt right now. I'm not sure why, but I'll figure it out.
There you go. There you go. Maybe you need to close your eyes and start breathing and looking around. Every Instagram video I see,
I thought
people,
you were describing praying for a sec. And then I realized you were talking about how Daredevil
yes,
sees.
No, Angel. That's how they did it in my church. The aspect ratio changed every time that they would have us kneel.
Oh my gosh. No, every Instagram video I see of anybody imitating them from this season, it's Kingpin mentioning him being a boy, and then Daredevil either screaming or breathing heavy and looking around, and it's funny. Or Daniel saying something about running till he can't run anymore, till he runs out of steam or some nonsense.
Which is so funny because that's one line that he said. He doesn't say shit like that all the time.
Yeah.
He literally said that one time.
Okay,
Yeah.
wait. I realized who he is. He's a reincarnation of Cousin Greg from Succession. I don't know if either of you two know who I'm talking about, but like the look
have
and
not.
the personality. Some
no
listener,
idea.
please back me up on this because it just clicked for me. Anyway,
I don't
keep
know.
going.
All I know is I feel like he should be on the Penguin. That's my thing. I feel like yeah, he really should be on the Penguin. He feels like a Penguin character.
Mr.
Not even the
Oz.
Batman character, Penguin specifically.
Yeah, Mr. Oz. I would do anything for you.
Yeah. Exactly.
Can we watch that as in like? Can we replace the Daredevils with that? Because I feel like I'd actually like the Penguin. I haven't tried it yet.
We're just gonna do both, Evan. You don't have a choice.
Yeah,
Okay.
you don't really.
I'd be
Catholic
more
guilt you
excited
into
to
it.
watch the Penguin.
Yes. Oh
Well,
wait, you
you're
didn't
going
watch it?
to, so
We
that's a
didn't do.
good thing.
We didn't do an episode on that yet.
Nope.
On the Penguin?
Oops.
No.
Oh, religious aspect, the Catholic guilt weighing on him. I understand, that Catholic guilt be heavy, And he's, in his mind, he's thinking, oh, well, what would God think of this? Like, what if I would have sent him to God? I don't know if I want to do that. Like that type of thing. And then I don't know if that's how he says it exactly, but Batman doesn't think like that. Batman just thinks, beat the man and then make him talk when I break
Batman
his
didn't
jaw.
go to church.
Batman, yes.
He doesn't have to because he lives in one.
That's true. His whole house is made of candles.
Oh. And the fact that his alter ego is like literally a devil or like an inner demon. So I like that.
Whoa, metaphor.
Yeah, you get it. It's there's layers to this. Okay.
Evan, what about you?
I don't know that this is my favorite version of like a story going into this because there are.
I thought you were gonna say Daredevil. I was like, you don't have many to choose from.
I don't have any to choose from.
I can only think of one other one.
I'm not the
two.
bad
I'm sorry,
guy.
but I haven't seen one of them. But the cartoon.
He's not the bad guy.
He's not.
Well, maybe I'll find out someday. But
I'm an
with
outlaw.
this theme, I.
Sorry.
I hope to one day get the reference.
It's okay. That's gonna be our next watch along.
I'm down.
Oh
for
yeah,
it.
it should be.
With this theme, the relationship with violence and justice, I like other stories about this better, and I think there are many approaches that we've seen. My favorite is probably V for Vendetta.
He's only saying that because his beard matches the Guy Fawkes mask.
No, it doesn't. I have a Guy Fawkes mask, and it doesn't match that at all. The mustache.
Your beard matches it. I looked at it when
doesn't.
When the video was on. I was like, "Hey, you kind of look like the guy."
No, you're wrong about that.
I don't agree. I was also there. I don't think. What are you talking about, Jelani?
I don't know.
Anyway, V for Vendetta is a good version, I think, of that theme where it at least like deals in the gray area more. There are some things, I think especially a lot of action movies and superhero movies will just make the villain so genocidally, apocalyptically evil that it's like, of course you kill him. Like, there's not really a question there, and they might be like, oh, but if you do this, you will become just like me, Batman. And, that works on Batman because he's him.
No, he's not him.
Which I do also think can become kind of an empty argument, to be honest.
It can, yeah.
They're like, oh, you'll become just like him. It's like, no, because I'm not doing it because I'm rageful. I'm doing it because I really see no other option. I've literally exhausted every other option, which I think is why Daredevil usually works. Because if he ever gets that far, which so far he really hasn't, like, full well that he has tried everything else. Like, literally everything else.
Stop me if I did this I feel like I did it on another episode, or maybe we weren't recording at the time. But it's like when Batman, I think it was either in the comics or Under the Red Hood, which we also got to do.
Yeah.
Where Batman says, "You kill him, Red Hood," or I don't know if he knew his identity by the time. "You kill him, Jason, and the number of murderers stays the same." And then he just says, "So I killed 2 murderers." Like,
I think you said that last Daredevil episode. Yeah, it was a recent.
Okay,
one.
there you go.
Oh yeah, I think you did. You might have even said that on another podcast. I feel like
I did.
Because I remember that. No, that's so funny. I love Jason Todd.
That argument is like, you can make a joke of it, but there's also like a legitimate thing to that. And I even kind of allude to this in the Henchman video I did, mostly about the John Wick movies, but a lot of other henchmen, they'll kind of do shorthand in some way to make it okay that Liam Neeson or whoever is going to kill like 50 of these people over the course of a movie. I was thinking of Taken today, as I say Liam Neeson, because that movie I think is one of the biggest cases of like, what do we need to do? What's the inciting incident that will like let us follow this guy and be kind of in with the fantasy of him just killing like 50 Eastern European dudes over the course of 90 minutes.
Well, they took his daughter.
Right,
took his daughter.
Exactly.
And he's got to use his skills.
Wait, say that again?
He's got to use his skills?
Well, his daughter got taken, but...
Yes, she did.
I hope that's what you were trying
Guys,
to
I got it. Yes, thank you.
Fantastic Four?
Four stick, yes.
I like it better when, like, I can have fun with a John Wick or a dumb action movie. Not always dumb, but, like, just something where it's like, we're not here to talk about themes. We just want to see some cool shootouts. Fine. I can get with a good superhero movie where we're not really worried about the villain's ethics. They're just like, I have a nuke, and you need to stop the nuke. When you're going to like actually engage with it, I think you need to go into the gray area. And this series, I'll say, does a little bit. Like, at the very least, Kingpin's not an apocalyptic threat. So you don't have to, like, he's not ever holding a nuke over the city, Dark Knight Rises style.
Well, his hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I think that they do a good job. They really make clear that, like, New York is under martial law. Like, they make it feel like a very closed off city. Like, I feel like I'm in Gotham in some scenes where, like, I basically feel like I can't leave.
Yeah.
It's not like the city's completely locked down, but living in the city itself feels incredibly oppressive just from the little things that they do, like the visual language they use, and obviously the way that AVTF interacts with a lot of the characters. Like, they make clear that they're living in this apocalyptic city state. So
Damn, that's crazy. I won't go into deep. Evan knows what I'm talking about.
I think so.
Yeah. Anyway.
they do a really good job of making it feel like Kingpin's brought this city to such a point where they have to find a way to get him out of power. Like, there's no moving forward waiting for this to be over. Like, they can't just go back to the way things were. Like, he has taken such control, and now it's even worse because he does have this sort of legion of people that have such, like, undying loyalty to him that there's no way that their minds are just going to be changed except through drastic action. So, like, there are people in the city that are being oppressed, and there are also people in the city that are somehow completely on his side despite him being absolutely insane and being open about being absolutely insane. You know? So I think they do a really good job of making that make sense.
I'll give you that. I think it still is able to be in that gray area spot a little bit. I didn't find myself thinking about that dichotomy very much. Maybe because it just doesn't tap into it in ways that, like... Because I do sometimes feel called out by, like, that kind of dichotomy. Like, when I rewatched V for Vendetta this past November 5th, it was the first time I'd seen it in a few years, and it made me think of some, like, just uncomfortable real-life things. And I don't know if this show quite... that might be a personal thing. Like, I think if other people are just at different points with that, like... Because it's kind of this tricky question where everyone on paper agrees that, like, violence is wrong. I'd say a good 95% of people think that, or at least would claim to think that. But we also have this, like, kind of urge to sometimes be like, but I wish I could justify some violence.
Well, violence is never the answer. It's the question, and the answer is yes.
I mean,
but I get what you're saying. I think that's where Karen comes in. Like she questions that like early in the season. Like, I know it's wrong, but at the same time, I'm so done with all of this shit. And, like, what else am I gonna do?
Yeah, there are violent actions that I think, like, I never quite know where to land on it personally, because you could easily make an argument that I could get behind that, like, it's never justified. Also, there are people that I think are legitimately making the world worse. And, like yes. And like many, like, the Dark Knight deals with this as well. A lot, Jelani, you were referencing a lot of, like, just Batman media in general is kind of playing with this. If they know he won't kill them, then that's almost their just, like, free pass to kind of do whatever, because they know that he has lines he won't cross, and they will cross every line. Like, I think the Dark Knight does a good job of playing in that gray area and testing that philosophy. I don't find this show to be an especially good sounding board for it. I do think it is playing. There's that scene with Karen, like it's definitely present in the show. I don't know if it adds a ton to the conversation that V for Vendetta or other things don't. I kind of like, in a superhero context, having a Spider-Man character, really just Spider-Man, because he doesn't kill either. But he also, like, has ways of stopping people. Like, whenever he's fighting, like, random violent criminals, his move is always web shooters before kicking them in the head so hard that they, like, wake up with brain damage. Whereas a lot, like, Daredevil doesn't have a web shooter equivalent. He always has to resort to kick him in the head as hard as he can. I just prefer the Spider-Man approach to that. And I think in cases where you have like the Venom storylines, or there are moments where Spider-Man like succumbs to rage, and I think the story never tries to justify that. Like whenever he is being just willfully violent, that is always presented as a bad thing.
Well, they always present it as an outside force, is the thing. Like, it
I
is
don't know
the
if
Venom
it always
symbiote.
is.
It's almost always, because I feel like
It's
most of
often
when I
the
remember
symbiote.
it is when it's often the symbiote, and it's rarely like something has driven him to this point, because that's not the kind of character Spider-Man usually is, to me at least.
Yeah. Are we good to close out? We're a little past 9.
I think so,
Yeah.
unless you had more points, Evan, because yeah, I do think it's an interesting thing that they do with Daredevil, and that's why he's probably my favorite Marvel character besides Spider-Man. But even then, it depends on the mood I'm in. Like sometimes he takes over depending on like what kind of story I'm looking for. I think they have the best handle in the comics and on TV now about like who Daredevil is. Like he's the most consistent in a good way. And I think next season's going to be good. We talked a little bit about that, but I do think that next season being the Defender season is such a good idea. And they're going to build up. And I'm hoping they do more Defender shows, personally. I think we're good to close out unless you guys had more thoughts.
Evan's notes at one point says it's refreshing to have a character. I don't know if he said it. I don't remember. Refreshing to have a character who doesn't feel guilty about killing is what. That's why I enjoy Bernthal's Punisher.
I did forget to say that. Yeah, I think that it can be. The way you said it.
He's always on a quest for knowledge or sharing knowledge because he's always trying to ask somebody something or tell them something.
Yeah, he is.
So
I'm upset. I still haven't gotten, at the time of recording, to watch the Punisher One Last Kill special, but I did want to talk a little bit about that if I had seen it during this episode. Because I feel like he's probably going to come back next season, and either way, he's going to be in Spider-Man Brand New Day, and I think, I'm pretty sure Daredevil is going to be too. Like, there's so much speculation. I think he's going to be in it.
I mean, the hand's in it. You have to put Daredevil in it, right?
It'd be really weird if they didn't, but I mean, the hand was an Iron Fist and Daredevil wasn't an Iron Fist.
Oof.
So maybe Iron Fist is in jail, and he's going to be in Spider-Man 4.
Okay, so our upcoming episodes, our next one's going to be on The Boys Season 5. We're going to do the Odyssey when it comes out. Before then, we're hoping, if we have time, to do a different kind of episode about how should we adapt myths. So not about a specific movie. We'll probably bring a lot of examples for that.
Oh, we might have my brother back for that too.
Yes,
right.
From what you're telling me.
I think that'll be really good to do before the Odyssey, because we want to watch the Odyssey as close to release, but I think that would be a really interesting like alternative to do.
Yeah. We have our YouTube channel. I'm working on a video about The Devil Wears Prada 2. Hopefully that'll be up soon. We have our Patreon, where hopefully we're going to be getting some new Tangent episodes, or at least one of them, up there soon. We are on Blue Sky, Instagram, and TikTok at INT Analysis Pod. I am on Blue Sky, Instagram, and Letterboxd at ev_Wes. Where are you guys?
I'm on Instagram at Jelani T. Kelly and Letterboxd at Jelani T. Kelly.
And I follow you now.
Yeah, I haven't just even.
You haven't put anything up.
Well, I have like Black Panther and Spider-Verse up there, but
yeah,
I haven't gone back to it since I created it. I think the tab is open. I don't remember. That's why I haven't followed y'all back. I'll do that once. I guess y'all force me to go back to it.
It'll be soon.
There's a phone
Um,
app too.
There
Oh,
is an app.
God.
Yeah, just do it on your phone. It's super easy.
No,
This episode is not sponsored by Letterboxd, guys. We
I
just
don't
like
Although
want
to
if
use it.
Letterboxd wants to sponsor us, I would be a great advocate for that. I would be happy to take money from
Oh
them.
yeah, absolutely. Letterboxd, we'll make 25 more accounts each if you sponsor us. Anyway, I'm also on Letterboxd at Serenity Cinema, and I'm on Instagram at angelmichele.film.
All right. Thanks for listening, everyone, and we'll see you next time.
boo.
Adios. Bye bye. Boo!